Hello, everyone. You might be asking yourself, has Mike been doing some decorating? And no, I'm just out here at the ocean. Not because I've lost my, not because I'm homeless or anything. I just decided to come out to the ocean because A, it's beautiful, and B, it's less than 5 miles from my residence. So here, let me show you what it looks like if I can. It's not going to let me do this, I don't think, or is it? Okay, well, let me just do this. There. Now you're looking at the ocean, and hopefully it's not glaring too much. But yeah, it's right downhill from an educational farm, which is usually crawling with kids. But this time of day, it's after work. This time of day, it's just all the kids have gone home. You can pretty much have the ocean all to yourself. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous out here. Oops, I'm blocking the lens. Sorry. But yeah, was there anything I wanted to talk about? Yes. I was just thinking, it's getting close to the end of summer, so I'll sort of wrap up my, talking about summer things. And one thing that you always have in the summer when it's hot is you always want to have ice cream. Because ice cream is a thing that you always want. Because you get hot, you want something cold. So, what did we do with ice cream back in the day? And of course, Baskin Robbins was always a option. There was a Baskin Robbins in San Pablo that we used to go to. Oddly enough, like most of the things in San Pablo have just got downgraded to something trashier. But the Baskin Robbins is now a double rainbow. So that's one of the few upgrades they did in San Pablo. I don't know what the deal is with that. But yeah, there's a double rainbow where the old San Pablo... Here, look at my eyes. Where the old San Pablo Baskin Robbins used to be. And I remember there was... Baskin Robbins used to have the quirkiest flavors back then. I remember, Brad Jones did that review of the Can't Stop the Music, and they had the Can't Stop the Nuts. I don't remember that. I don't really remember Can't Stop the Music as a current... I seem to remember it being on HBO, or one of the pay cable networks, but not so much... the flavor, but yeah, I remember there was something called Cha Cha Cha. I'm not sure what it was, but I remember they would have little, they had little posters advertising their new flavors, because it was always like the 31 flavors, and yeah, they had something called Cha Cha Cha, and my sister, was always, I guess because she liked to annoy me, she would tickle me. And she knew I didn't like it, so she would go cha-cha-cha when she was tickling me. And that just became like the, standard tickling sound. Cha-cha-cha, I don't know why. But yeah, I remember doing that. That was the time that we were at our grandparents', and I fell off the stoop and broke my arm. And I had to have a cast for 2 weeks. Cha-cha-cha, yeah. Cha-cha-cha, you have a broken arm. And it wasn't this arm, it was my left arm. But I'm holding the phone with my left arm, so I can't really do that. But, yeah, they had at my dad's, the ones that my dad remembered from when he was a kid. We'd go to those ones, the ones out in Berkeley, well, Albany and Berkeley, because they're both on Solano Avenue. There was Ortman's, which was on Solano and, what is that street? Calusa. And there's actually a Starbucks there now. They used to advertise, like, when it first became Starbucks, it was said featuring Ortman's ice cream, but they've completely remodeled it. It doesn't look like that because Ortman's was one of those really old school ice cream places where everything was pink and white, and the entire thing, and it had the wire backed chairs. So that was Ortman's. I think we only went to Ortman's like once. The one we went to was down in Albany, and I can't remember what's there now. It might be where the Barney's Hamburgers is, but it was called McCallum's, and that was another really old school one where they had something called the sink, and the sink was where they just give you this like huge bowl, gigantic bowl of as much ice cream as they could cram in there. I think it was practically pretty much just one of those barrels of ice cream just dumped into the freaking thing. And if you finished it, you got it for free. But I don't remember anyone getting that while I was there. But I imagine they did that thing where they hit a gong or something or a bell, and like music will play, and they just embarrass the person that ordered this monstrosity. I don't remember that, but the one I always remember going to was Swenson's. And I didn't realize this until now. I thought they were just completely out of business. But the original Swenson's is there in San Francisco still. But the one we'd always go to, because there was a small chain of them, the one we'd always go to was the one in El Cerrito Plaza. And I had a bunch of birthdays down there at the El Cerrito Plaza Swenson's. That's another one of those really old school ice cream places where it was, I think that might have helped foster all my love of all things 19th century. It wasn't just that me mashing on that picture of Ulysses S. Grant, my history book. No, it was one of those really old school. And then again, they had the wire back chairs and everything, and it looked really old fashioned. But yeah, we'd go there like for my birthday all the time, and it also fostered my love of sweet things. But yeah, I thought Swenson's was completely out of business because the chain is no more. But apparently the original Swenson's was in San Francisco, and it's still there. You can apparently still go there. But yeah, I go to Lord's with my friends every once in a while, with a friend of the show, Al Badger. And there's a few Lords. There's one I think the original one's in Oakland, but there's a few in the East Bay. Not in the Northeast Bay where I'm from, but down, Hayward, Castro Valley, that area. And going there is like going back in time, because that so much is like the old ice cream places that I used to go to when I was a kid. I mean, at least it was like Swenson's, because there were a couple other places, like right in Pinole. There was actually at Super Scoop, which was the original one was at the 1880 Shopping Center, where the Safeway was and still is. But they apparently moved to downtown Pinole, rather, later on. And that was sort of our local place. I remember because they were right up the street from where my cousins and my aunt and uncle lived. So we'd sometimes go there after dinner and have ice cream. And they had the policy where, if you start eating your ice cream before we ring you up, we'll charge you tax because you started eating it before we served it to you. That's I don't know what the deal is with that, but that's the main thing I remember about Super Scoop. That and I remember my cousin Mark was making me laugh because of they had a Dymo label on the sugar dispenser, and sugar was misspelled. It was Suger on the thing, and that for some reason I found that hilarious, just like uncontrollably funny. And he was just like shoving it in my face, making me laugh harder. And yeah, the other one I remember was Scoopies, and Scoopies was at the Hilltop Mall, which. And the thing about the Scoopies that I remember was they had porthole windows because it was located right next to the ice rink. And I'll talk about the ice rink later, like in a later vlog later on in the year when it's more seasonally appropriate. It's not seasonally appropriate now because look at all this freaking sunshine right now. But yeah, there was porthole windows, and it would look out over the ice rink. You could watch people skate. And the other thing I remember about it, which I found odd at the time, was they didn't have cones. They only served it to you in a bowl or a cup. So I thought that was odd that they didn't have ice cream cones. You couldn't get a ice cream cone there. You had to get it served to you in a cup. Which, yeah, it's like they were getting the jump on the not quite nascent frozen yogurt phrase, because frozen yogurt was still new-ish at the time. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's well, there was also Foster's Freeze, but that was like our own homegrown version of Dairy Queen. I mean, there was Dairy Queen, but I think the only Dairy Queen we ever had around was the one in Vallejo. I think there might have been one in Napa too, but there's one in Vallejo. It's still there. And because Dairy Queens were rare in our area, we would always beg our parents to take us to Dairy Queen. I don't remember going that many times. I was thinking most of the time it's like, you could get that stuff anywhere, which is true. I mean, Foster's Freeze is functionally identical. It's just everything has a different name, but yeah, but we were kids and we thought, oh, Dairy Queen, that's something special, so we have to go there. Which is ridiculous, of course. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. And I do have something to taste, but not here, obviously. I've already tasted it. It's back at the residence, so we'll jump in the time-space portal and go back to when I tasted this. So let's go there. So yeah, I have something to taste right now, and it's you may have heard of this stuff. It's called Crystal Pepsi. Yeah, I don't really have any nostalgia for this stuff. I remember it being a thing for a while in the 90s, but, friends said, you know what, don't even bother, so I never did bother. But, when I saw it in the store, it said, your last chance to taste the 90s. It's just like, oh yeah, this tastes like grunge music and Quentin Tarantino movies. Yum. Anyway, so, well, I might as well try it just because people just say, oh, it just tastes like Pepsi. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Ooh, and it's getting bubbly. Don't mind that sound. That's just me boiling water. It doesn't really have a strong taste. It kind of smells like 7-Up. Smell. I keep saying taste when I mean smell. Why do I keep doing that? Anyway, here goes. It's almost like really light Pepsi. It tastes like Pepsi, but it's less so. I mean, if you get what I mean, it kind of tastes like watered down Pepsi. Not flat Pepsi, thank God, but almost like it's been watered down. I mean, okay, I take that back. It doesn't taste watered down. It just tastes subtler. It tastes like subtle Pepsi. It's like Pepsi that is not as strongly flavored. If you get my meaning. It's kind of odd. I don't know what they did. Maybe they just added less flavoring to it. I'm not sure. It's this I can't explain it, but it's kind of like Pepsi but less so. If you get my meaning. I'm not regretting this not being on the market anymore after this, but I'm kind of glad I tasted this. I mean, it's not bad by any means, but I don't think it would be my favorite anything. Really, I think my friend's estimation of it back in the day is kind of right on the nose, i.e. meh. So that's kind of my reaction to Crystal Pepsi. So that's all for now, so see you around.